Exposed. How one incredible Black woman revealed their hidden bias and changed a 5B deal forever. Shanice Parker stepped into the shining glass building of a corporate giant, her heart racing. This was a $5 billion deal that could catapult her small catering business from the streets of Atlanta's West End into the big leagues. A deal that could lift her family from hardship and empower her community. But under the glimmering lights, shadowy doubts began to creep in. Do they really see me? She whispered to herself. The weight of expectation clung to her, tightening like a vice around her chest. Growing up in a neighborhood where resilience flowed through every home like a river, Shanice had learned from her single mother that hard work could bend reality. She transformed her family's little catering business, known for delicious soul food, into a local sensation. Yet, this new world of white-collared suits felt like a distant galaxy. There, whispers bloomed into judgment. Glances turned to barriers. Was she just a novelty? They seemed to hint, echoing a truth that shook her cord as she walked into the boardroom. She couldn't shake the feeling of eyes sizing her up. This wasn't just a negotiation. It was a test of her identity. What do you bring to the table? One executive had asked, his voice dripping with condescension. The underlying question lingered, taunting her. Was she good enough? Shanice took a deep breath, picturing her mother's proud smile, urging her on to fight. The warmth of home wrapped around her, helping her stand tall despite the chilling atmosphere. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But as the meeting progressed, that first comment was followed by another, and another, each a jab wrapped in a smile. Shanice's heart thundered. It felt like a dam had burst, revealing a truth so heavy it weighed on her spirit. The biases were real, and they were suffocating. She glanced at the respected elder from her community seated in the corner, his face a mask of concern, as if he too felt her struggle. The tides of self-doubt mixed with her burning ambition ignited a storm within her. Was it worth it to push forward when each step felt like an uphill battle against a tide of prejudice? Then, in the stormy silence of the boardroom, one executive made a careless comment that cut deeper than any knife. The air electrified. She could almost hear the collective gasp of the room. That moment shattered the illusion. Would she stand down or would she rise up? Shanice's pulse quickened. Was she ready to risk everything? She thought of every unsung hero from her community who had fought this fight. They needed her. Everything was on the line. With every ounce of determination twisting in her gut, Shanice prepared to reclaim her narrative. Would she show them who she really was and challenge the very fabric of bias lurking within those walls? The crowd, waiting with bated breath, sensed the tension rising. As Shanice took that step forward, she could almost feel the eyes of the world on her, setting the stage for an epic confrontation against the unyielding norms of the industry. Would courage be enough? The answer lingered, thick in the air as she prepared for the showdown of her life. Shanice felt the weight of every soul behind her as she stepped into the spotlight, feeling the heat radiating from the boardroom's glaring lights. The murmurs faded, yet the tension hung like a heavy fog. She could feel her pulse quicken, pounding in her chest, driving her forward. This was her moment. Let's address the elephant in the room, she said, her voice steady but filled with fire. The executives in their slick suits blinked in surprise. No one had dared to challenge the status quo openly before. The air crackled with potential as she continued. You think I'm just a caterer from Atlanta, but I'm much more. She paused, letting her words sink in. I'm a voice for my community, and my food carries the spirit of resilience. It's not just about feeding people. It's about nourishing hopes. The silence that followed was deafening. Shanice's heart raced, but she pressed on. She shared stories of her mother hustling every day, making dinner from scraps, teaching her how to savor every moment and every bite they could create, how her family's kitchen had been a sanctuary during times of struggle. I don't just offer soul food. I offer the heart of my culture, she proclaimed, determination rising in her voice like a tide. The room was spellbound. Shanice scanned the faces around the table, some shocked, others evidently uncomfortable. Their preconceptions rattled. But that was exactly what she hoped to achieve. You want to talk about potential? She challenged. Then let us talk about investing in communities that are often overlooked. Let us change the narrative from mere charity to strategic partnership. The room was alive with shifting energy. She felt their grip on the biases of the past quaking, and it filled her with strength. One executive, a woman with kind but sharp features, leaned forward, breaking the silence. What makes you think you can handle a contract of this scale? Shanice inhaled deeply, choosing her words with careful precision. Because I have lived the challenges and seen the solutions. I know my community and I know what we can achieve together. The glimmers of skepticism didn't fade entirely, but something shifted in their posture. For the first time they began to see her not as an outsider, but as an ally, someone who understood the pulse of her world. Yet she knew challenges still loomed ahead. One wrong move and they could retreat into their comfort zones, erasing the breakthrough she fought for. Why should we trust you? Another voice chimed in, laced with scrutiny. Each word was a barbed wire on the path she had tried to pave. You're not one of us. Shanice felt resentment bubbling beneath the surface but quickly quelled it. Maybe not. But I am here to build bridges, not walls. So let us find common ground. The eyes in the room darted among one another, uncertainty battling against intrigue. Shanice could sense vulnerability edging its way into the hearts of her audience. And then, inexplicably, she found herself crossing a threshold she never imagined would exist. Let us talk about our next steps, she proposed, confidence spilling over the brim of her doubt. The room, once so hostile, now pulsed with possibility. Just as hope began to blossom, a steel-voiced executive coughed and said, "How do you plan to deliver?" Shanice inhaled sharply, aware that her answer could either snuff out this spark or ignite a full blaze. Was she ready for this next challenge? She could feel the stares measuring her resolve. And now it was time for the answer that could change everything. With a deep breath, she prepared to share her vision, a fusion of heart and strategy, a bold declaration of what was yet to come. Would it be enough to secure the deal that could transform lives, including her own? Shanice could feel the tension saturating the air, thick enough to slice through. The room seemed to hold its breath, all eyes boring in on her as they awaited her response. She could feel the weight of their expectations, but even heavier was the responsibility she felt toward her community. What I can deliver is a vision, a partnership that doesn't just look impressive on paper, but resonates in the hearts of every single person involved, she began. Her voice gained momentum, fueled by a mix of passion and urgency. Imagine a caterer who not only serves food but creates a movement. A movement that empowers local suppliers, uplifts families, and transforms how your company is perceived in the community. She could see the wheels starting to turn in their minds, tiny sparks of interest flickering in their expressions. Some leaned in closer, others appeared deep in thought. She was piquing their interest, framing her offerings in a way that went beyond traditional contracts. It was about value, connection, and making a difference. Let us talk strategy, she urged, the words spilling forth from her. I've already partnered with local farmers and artisans, small businesses that embody the very essence of my culture. We can create meals that tell stories, meals that resonate beyond just taste. Each dish could be a symbol of collaboration, bridging cultural divides, fostering understanding. In that moment, she caught the gaze of the sharp-featured woman again. And our marketing can reflect that, can't it? We market a new narrative, one of empowerment and community. People will not just come for the food but because they feel they're part of something larger than themselves. Bold, the executive murmured, a hint of intrigue weaving through her tone, but skepticism still lingered like a shadow in the corners of the room. Look, I get that this is a leap for you, Shanice pressed on, knowing she had to cut through the apprehension with authenticity. But to change perspectives, to disrupt the norm, it takes real courage. It takes partnership. It means believing in my experience, my passion, in us, doing this together. She paused, letting her emotions settle like dust. It was risky, laying her heart bare like this, but she wanted them to see her as more than just a face in the crowd. She wanted them to see the woman fighting for the future of those she loved, the women and men who depended on her. The room buzzed with low murmurs, ideas murmured back and forth, as hearts started to open to the possibilities. She could see them warming up to her concept, the walls of skepticism cracking ever so slightly. But what if it doesn't work, Shanice? The steel-voiced executive countered, still testing her resolve. What if this is a gamble that ends badly for everyone? Shanice swallowed hard, emotions swirling like a storm inside her. She knew that risk was part of growth. Success was never assured, but was built on stepping into uncertainty. Then we'll own it. We learn, adapt and evolve together. That's how true partnerships flourish. We've all been through struggles, and the most profound lessons often come from the hardest paths. A smile began to tug on the corner of that woman's mouth, and Shanice seized that moment. We won't back down from challenges, we'll face them head-on as a team. Imagine how we could pave the way for others to follow. Together we can change lives. As the conversation morphed into a dialogue, she felt hope rising like the sweet aroma of simmering spices in her kitchen. Yet, as excitement flourished, a nagging doubt still loomed in her mind. Could she truly make this happen? Could she turn their cautious interest into a resounding yes? Just then the chief financial officer stood up, arms crossed and expression unreadable. I need to hear not just passion but numbers. What are the projections? What's the plan if things don't fall into line? Shanice's heart raced again, but she steadied herself. She had prepared herself for many things in this meeting, but she hadn't anticipated needing to weave numbers into her vision just yet. And so she took a deep breath, ready to pivot once more, knowing this was just the beginning. Would her passion and newfound strategy be enough to keep them engaged? Or would she need to dig deeper into the deal-making side and fast? Shanice felt her palms grow damp against the table, but she forced a smile, hoping to mask her nerves. She had prepared herself for this moment, yet the feeling of being pushed to the edge of her comfort zone made her heart thump harder in her chest. Numbers cold, hard facts were not her forte, but she knew she had to pivot. She could not let this opportunity slip away. Of course I understand, she replied, keeping her tone steady. Let us get into the numbers. I'll outline our projections based on both costs and potential revenue. She glanced down at her notes, where scattered figures danced before her eyes. These numbers represented more than mathematical projections. They tied directly to the futures of families depending on her vision. Shanice lifted her gaze carefully, making eye contact with each executive in the room. First, we expect to see a 20% increase in profit from sourcing local ingredients. We're not just buying food. We're investing in our community. That means more families can thrive, which in turn enriches the local economy. She felt a spark of energy flow through her as she spoke. This was her zone, her passion infusing these calculations with purpose. Secondly, she continued, by partnering with local artisans for branding and marketing, we're expecting a surge in customer engagement. Community connection fosters loyalty. People aren't just buying into a product. They're investing in hope and transformation. These connections are invaluable. She could see interest peaking again, the executives shifting in their seats, connecting the dots. Now about the risks, she said, grounding herself in her next statement. Every endeavor carries uncertainty, but with a solid plan for assessing performance and collecting feedback from our clients, we will stay agile. If we need to adapt, we will. Just like life, right? It's about adjusting our course toward a common goal. The apprehensive expressions exchanged among the executives began to dissipate, and Shanice felt a wave of relief wash over her. But then, the steel-haired executive leaned forward, her expression sharper. Okay, but what are you going to do if things go wrong? How do we know this isn't just an idealistic dream you're selling us? It was a fair question. The tone shifted again, this time tinged with seriousness. Shanice took a moment to gather her thoughts. If things go wrong, it's my responsibility to face it head-on. We'll be transparent with data tracking our successes and failures openly. Then we recalibrate, drawing on our shared experiences. It's hard, but growth comes from challenges. The room was alive with chatter, murmurs of acknowledgement. The cautious glances exchanged now seemed softer, a hint of camaraderie blossoming among them. One of the other executives, a younger man with brown eyes that held curiosity, spoke up. You really believe in this, don't you? Not just the numbers, the entire idea. Absolutely, Shanice replied, her heart swelling with conviction. This isn't just business for me. It's personal. Every dish we prepare, every local farmer we partner with, represents hope for change and a brighter future for our community. She paused, collecting the eager expressions locked on her. They had started to lean into her words like a breeze, lifting their spirits. And just as she was feeling the momentum shift, her phone buzzed in her pocket, breaking the tension a moment too soon. She quickly glanced down, her heart dropping. It was a message from her sister. Baby Dad's health took a turn. You need to come home. Shanice's breath caught in her throat, the room fading to a blur. All she could see were the faces around her. The vibrant energy crushed under the weight of her world. Her father. Was this disaster striking at the worst possible time? She swallowed hard, torn between her family's urgent need for her and the burning drive to push this project forward. The silence hung in the air, heavy and thick, and she realized she had to make a choice. Could she stay and fight for a vision larger than herself, or would she abandon this opportunity to face her family's crisis? The tension resumed, quieter this time but heightened. Hearts beat fast, a sense of urgency permeating the air. Would her passion hold? Would she finally take that leap both for her community and herself? In that moment, Shanice was left with the hardest question of all. What path lay ahead, and which would she choose when both felt equally monumental? Shanice's thoughts spiraled as she tried to process the message. The stakes were impossibly high. Her father's health had always been fragile, and now the weight of his uncertainty pressed against her chest like a heavy stone. For a moment, she could see his face, the warm smile, the sparkle in his eyes when he did talk about the family restaurant. The place he had built with his own hands, now part of every memory she cherished. But here she was in a conference room with people who didn't know her, who didn't feel that same urgency. It was the life she had chosen for herself, a life dedicated to uplifting her community through food, hope, and the promise of growth. Could she really step away from that now? The younger man's voice broke through her haze. Shanice? He leaned forward, concern etching his features. You okay? Her pulse raced. She had been so caught up in the moment, so ready to fight for her vision, that she had forgotten about the world waiting for her outside these walls. Yes, I'm okay, she stammered, though the uncertainty in her voice betrayed her. I just need a moment. The room stayed silent as she closed her eyes, seeking clarity. She inhaled deeply, trying to summon the calm that had carried her this far. The vision, the community she wanted to build was still there, flickering like a flame at the back of her mind. But was it enough? And after all this, what if I'm not there for Dad? She thought. What if he needed her and she wasn't strong enough to take that leap? As she wrestled with her thoughts, the steel-haired executive spoke up again, her tone softened now. You're passionate, Shanice. That's clear. But you need to take care of what matters most too. We'll still be here when you get back. Shanice met the executive's eyes, feeling something shift, a crack in the tension. But if I step away now, this project could fall apart without my guidance. Haven't we just begun to find our momentum? The younger executive nodded, his voice steady but kind. We have a strong team. We can hold things in place while you figure out what you need to do. We believe in you. A wave of gratitude washed over her. These weren't just executives anymore. They were potential allies, willing to support her in a moment of vulnerability. Maybe it was okay to acknowledge that she couldn't do it all by herself. All right, she said, her voice firmer. I'll go see my family. But I'll need a plan for the project, someone to manage things while I'm away. Of course, the steel-haired executive replied, her expression softer. We wouldn't want you to feel pressure while you're dealing with this. Let us collaborate and lay out a strategy. That lifted some weight off Shanice's shoulders. She could leave without letting her vision crumble. But another worry crept in, her dad's health. What if this was a turning point? Would it change him forever? She hesitated. Make sure I can balance both. My heart is for my family, but so is my passion for this community. Shanice felt the warmth of determination return. She wasn't just a dreamer. She was a doer, one who could adapt and forge a path, no matter how difficult. As the meeting wrapped up, she resolved to make the call to her sister, to get whatever details she could. Her heart raced with each step, knowing that decisions lay ahead, both about family and the future she envisioned. When she stepped out of the meeting room, an unexpected calm settled over her. Yet, anticipation lingered like a heavy mist. What awaited her at home? Would her father be all right? Shanice pressed her phone against her ear, feeling resolved yet uneasy. "What do you need from me?" she whispered as her sister picked up. And with those words, she prepared to walk into what felt like an uncertain reality, knowing every shadow held a challenge and every step ventured deeper into the unknown. Would she find her family resilient enough to weather this storm? Or would this crisis become too great a burden to bear? Shanice stood outside the glass doors, feeling the cool air greet her as she stepped onto the bustling street. The world hummed with life, yet her heart felt heavy, slowing time around her. Each step echoed the conflicts in her mind. Family obligation versus her dream. How could she find the balance? "Just take a breath," she whispered to herself, looking at the vibrant cherry blossoms lining the avenue, their petals fluttering like whispers of hope. The beauty reminded her of her father's stories, how he always found joy in small things. Even during tough times, she made her way to her car, her phone buzzed to life in her hand. It was her sister. "Shanice. Thank God you're calling. I just got the results from Dad's last tests." Her pulse quickened. "What did they say?" The words tumbled out, shaky and fearful. "Serious, but we can handle this. He's going to need more help and I can't do it alone." The weight of her sister's plea sank deep into her chest. "I'm coming home. We can share the load," Shanice resolved, determination rising inside her. "Really? Are you sure? What about the project?" her sister asked, a mixture of concern and hope. Things were starting to fall into place, yet uncertainty swirled around them. "I'll set things up for my team. They'll be okay. But right now I need to be with Dad." "Okay," her sister replied, a hint of relief in her voice. "We'll figure it out together." As she hung up, the ground beneath her felt solid. She was stepping into the unknown, but she wouldn't be alone. Their bond felt like a lifeline in turbulent waters. The drive home was a blur. Every mile brought her closer to the family restaurant, the place filled with laughter, stories, and a legacy her father had built. Each pothole seemed to shake loose memories of family gatherings, the scent of fried plantains and grilled chicken wafting through her mind. Would they still find joy in these moments if he wasn't well? When she finally arrived, the restaurant stood strong and inviting, a beacon of warmth in a sea of uncertainty. As she pushed open the door, the familiar sound of sizzling on the grill greeted her, mingling with the chatter of customers. "Felt like home." "Shanice," her sister called from behind the counter, eyes brightening with relief. They embraced, a warm moment in the midst of chaos. "I didn't know how we'd manage without you." "I'm here now," Shanice replied, feeling a sense of purpose rekindle within her. "Let us go see Dad." They made their way to the small office in the back. The room smelled of fresh herbs, a stark contrast to the weight of worry in the air. Her father looked up, weariness etched into his features, yet his smile remained. "You're finally here, Shanice." "Dad," she breathed, her heart swelling with love and concern. "I came as soon as I heard. How are you feeling?" "Getting by," he chuckled softly, but it was a joke that felt too brittle for his condition. Sitting beside him, Shanice could see the lines of struggle in his face. No longer the towering figure from her childhood, he looked fragile. "We're going to figure this out. Together." She squeezed his hand, warm yet gentle. Just then her phone buzzed again, a notification from her work email. It was a message from her team, asking for an immediate update on the project. Her heart sank momentarily, responsibility clawed at her anew. "Everything all right?" her sister asked. Noticing her change in demeanor, Shanice looked up, torn. "I need to keep my team informed, but there's so much happening here," her father's voice cut in, firm yet gentle. "You handle your business, Shanice. You have a dream. Don't let this steal it from you." His words hit her like a sudden gust of wind, vulnerable yet invigorating. She was a bridge between two worlds, one foot in her dream, the other in family. As the day continued, they shared stories and laughter, but the tension lay thick in the air. Would they be able to carry one another through this storm? Just as the sun dipped low, casting a golden hue over the restaurant, Shanice's phone buzzed once more. This time it wasn't her team. It was an unexpected name, the last person she thought would reach out. "Who is it?" her sister asked, eyeing the screen. Shanice felt heat rising in her chest as she read the message, heart racing. "Someone trying to take more than what they deserve," she murmured, eyes narrowing. And with that she understood. The battle for her family wasn't over, not yet. What lay ahead could either deepen their resolve or send everything tumbling down. Could she juggle duty and passion? Or was the moment of truth upon her? Shanice tried to calm the wildfire of emotions roaring in her chest. She wanted to focus on her family, on her father's health, but the message on her phone lingered like a heavy fog. The sender, Marcus, was someone from her past, someone she had trusted before. The kind of person who could turn everything upside down in an instant. "Give me a second," she said to her sister, stepping aside into a quieter corner of the restaurant. The soft hum of the grill and the quiet chatter of patrons faded as she concentrated on the screen in her hand. Marcus's message was direct, almost too casual. "Hey Shanice, we need to talk about the project. It's bigger than we thought." Her stomach twisted. What could possibly be bigger? Could he be implying that something shady was happening behind the scenes? The pit of her stomach churned with dread. If he was stirring up trouble, she couldn't afford distractions right now. Not with her father's health in the hands of uncertainty. "Shanice?" Her sister stepped closer, concern etched on her face. "You okay?" "I will be, just a lot on my mind." She pocketed her phone, trying to block out the worry creeping in. "Let us focus on Dad tonight." They returned to her father, who was now flipping through an old photo album. Each photograph told a story: family road trips, birthdays, and simple afternoons filled with laughter. Shanice felt a bittersweet ache as memories washed over her. How could they still create moments like these when the future felt so unpredictable? "Look at this one," her father said, holding up a picture of a younger Shanice and her sister dressed as little chefs in the restaurant kitchen. "Your mom would have loved to see you both buzzing with energy. Just like the good old days." Shanice smiled, momentarily forgetting the heavy weight on her heart. But as her father reminisced about the times when they'd help him in the restaurant, crafting meals together, she felt a knot tighten in her throat. Dad will make sure to keep that spirit alive no matter what. Yet the phone buzzed again, breaking her reverie. A text from Marcus this time. "I can help. Come by the office tomorrow when you get a chance. It's important." The urgency in his words felt like ice sliding down her spine. Why would he want to help now? What did he know that she didn't? Could she even trust him anymore? "Shanice? You're clutching your phone like a lifeline," her sister noted, eyebrows furrowed. Taking a deep breath, she sighed. "It's just work stuff. I should probably check in, but I'll make it work. Promise me you'll take care of yourself too? We've got Dad and we need you strong." She nodded, yet a part of her felt adrift. How could she balance the emotional weight of family with the sudden urgency of work? Later that evening, after the last customer left and the restaurant had quieted, Shanice stepped outside, the cool night air hitting her like a soft brush of reality. She glanced at the stars glimmering above, feeling small yet empowered in their presence. As her sister joined her, they stood side by side, looking out at the empty street. "What's bothering you, really?" Shanice hesitated but felt the need to be honest. "Marcus wants to meet. I think he's using the project as leverage. But with Dad's condition, I don't know if I have it in me to handle both. Whatever you choose, I'll be right here. Just remember, it's okay to say no." She appreciated her sister's reassurance, but another nagging thought crept in: what if he was right? What if there was more at stake than she realized? The next morning, sitting on the edge of her bed, the weight of her decisions hung like a cloud. She had a choice to make, but it felt heavier than any she had faced before. Could she protect her family and still fight for her dreams? As the sun broke through the horizon, illuminating the room, Shanice knew she was standing at a crossroads. With a deep breath, she made her way to her father's side, their conversations merging into uncharted territory of fears and hopes. She knew she would have to confront both Marcus and her own doubts. But the question loomed. When the day came, would she have the courage to stand up for what truly mattered? The sun streamed through the window, casting warm light across the room as Shanice sat with her father, the weight of her impending decision heavy on her mind. He was telling stories, but she found it hard to concentrate. The laughter in his voice felt distant, overshadowed by the anxious thoughts swirling inside her. "Dad, do you remember that time we almost burned the kitchen down trying to make chocolate chip cookies?" Her sister chimed in, trying to ignite some joy. Her father chuckled, his eyes sparkling with the memory. What a disaster! But the fire alarms really added to the drama, didn't they? Shanice managed a smile, grateful for the moment. It was a brief reprieve. But Marcus's message clawed at her. She couldn't shake the nagging feeling that something sinister was lurking beneath the surface. What project was he so desperate to discuss? Still with us, Shanice? Her father's voice broke through her reverie. Yeah, just thinking. She forced a brighter smile, burying her fears beneath layers of family camaraderie. We should do more cooking together. For old time's sake. That sounds like a great idea, her sister said, her face lighting up. We can even throw a family dinner, invite everyone. Mom would love that. Caught up in her sister's enthusiasm, Shanice felt a flicker of hope. Maybe they could breathe some life back into their family traditions, despite the storm brewing behind her eyelids. It was a fragile hope, but it was something to hold on to as the day pressed on. Shanice helped her father around the house, keeping herself busy, yet her mind remained sharp with uncertainty. The phone buzzed again this time. It was a calendar reminder for her meeting with Marcus. She hadn't even registered scheduling it. The thought of seeing him brought a rush of anxiety. Hey, if you're going out later, will you grab some groceries? Her sister asked, bringing her back to reality. Sure. I'll go after dinner, Shanice replied absent-mindedly. Are you okay? Her sister pressed again, her brows knitting in concern. I'm fine. Just tired, Shanice fibbed, but the weight of her worry was beginning to show. After dinner, filled with laughter and stories, her sister offered to help her at the store. The glow of the warm lights inside the grocery store felt like home, the scent of fresh bread calming her racing thoughts. But the moment Shanice glanced at the phone and saw Marcus's name again, her heart raced anew. I'm just going to grab a few more things, she told her sister, who nodded understandingly. While wandering the aisles, Shanice wrestled with her mind. Should she go meet Marcus? What if he didn't just want to discuss the project? What if he wanted to drag her back into old patterns that had caused her so much pain? Just then she bumped into an old friend. Shanice. It's been forever, they exclaimed, pulling her into a tight hug. Hey. Good to see you, Shanice replied, her spirit lifting momentarily. They chatted about life updates and for a moment, she forgot her inner turmoil. But when they said their goodbyes, the knot in her stomach returned. The grocery bags felt heavier as she made her way to the counter as she stepped outside. The cool air brushed against her skin, and the weight of the world crept back in. Did she even know how to confront Marcus? How to stick up for herself when he was so persuasive? That night, sitting alone in her room, she turned her phone over and over in her hands. The bright screen felt like a beacon of impending doom. But as Shanice's thoughts drifted to her family, her father's laughter, her sister's unwavering support, she felt a flicker of determination ignite within her. Maybe it was time to stop letting Marcus's shadow loom over her choices. That morning, she would not just meet Marcus, she would reclaim her power. But what would that meeting reveal about the project and about herself? Shanice woke up with the sun creeping through her curtains, pulling her from the fog of sleep. Today was the day. A whirlwind of emotions surged inside her: fear, determination, hope. She had been mentally preparing all morning, rehearsing what she would say to Marcus. But everything felt so much more challenging outside the confines of her mind. After a quick breakfast, she glanced at her reflection in the mirror, straightening her shoulders. The woman staring back was not just someone hesitant and unsure. She was spirited and ready. She could face whatever was waiting for her. Everything all right? Her sister asked as she slid into the living room, pulling at her phone. Yeah, just getting ready for my meeting, Shanice replied, forcing a calmness she didn't entirely feel. Remember what you said last night? You've got this. Her sister flashed a reassuring smile that tugged at Shanice's heart. Thanks, Shanice replied, drawing strength from that moment. Leaving her family behind felt both like climbing a mountain and stepping out of a safety net all at once. Time ticked away rapidly, and soon she found herself in front of the coffee shop where Marcus had arranged to meet. It was a small, bustling place, the kind where the barista knew each patron by name, a stark contrast to the tension that pulsed through her. The scent of coffee mixed pleasantly with the rich aroma of baked goods, but even the warm atmosphere could not soothe her nerves. As she stepped inside, her eyes immediately met Marcus's. He sat at a corner table, a slight smirk playing on his lips. It made her stomach churn, but she took a breath and walked toward him with purpose. Shanice, you made it, he boomed, standing to pull her into an awkward half-hug. Marcus, She nodded briskly, taking a seat across from him. Glad you're here. I thought we could have a little chat about our project, Marcus said, leaning in as he spoke, an intensity in his voice that gave her pause. Right. The project, she murmured. His eyes lit up, and he began chattering about numbers, deadlines, and potential outcomes. But as she listened, she felt her mind drifting. The words twisted and turned, but the promise of what this project suggested flickered in her thoughts. Opportunity. A chance to redeem herself, to finally break the cycle that had held her back. Are you following me? He asked suddenly, noticing her detached expression. Sort of, she admitted softly. But can we talk about what exactly you want from me, Marcus? He paused, throwing her an unexpected look. You're the key to unlocking this deal, he said, his tone shifting slightly. But there's more at stake than just numbers. What do you mean? The pit in her stomach dropped another notch. I've been hearing things, Shanice. Things about your potential leadership, and how your perspective could bring this project to a whole new light. Her breath caught. Was he really saying what she thought he was? Had he been using her all along, or was there a glimmer of genuine interest? What are you implying? This isn't just about the business, is it? She could feel the heat rise in her cheeks, her heart pounding. It's about difference, Shanice. It's about how a project like this would benefit from what you can bring to the table. Your voice. His gaze softened, but the weight of his words hung heavy as she contemplated this. An unsettling feeling settled in her. Did she dare trust him again? Would this opportunity truly allow her to reclaim her power? Or was it a trap dressed in promise? Just then, a couple at the next table erupted in laughter, the noise breaking her focus. Was Marcus expecting her to dive in without consideration? Shanice, I can show you the way. We could change everything. His eyes locked onto hers, and for a moment, she could see determination mirrored in him. But it was too soon to take those words at face value. Maybe this meeting was more than just a professional discussion. It felt like a test of her resolve, her understanding of her own worth. Taking a deep breath, she leaned in. I need to know if you really believe in me or if this is just a way for you to exploit my skills. Marcus paused, and as the silence stretched, Shanice felt a rush of breath. What would his answer reveal about his motives and about her path ahead? Marcus's eyes flickered, and for the first time, Shanice saw a hint of vulnerability. I didn't reach out just to exploit, he said, his voice lower and steadier. I see potential in you, Shanice. Your experience, your drive, they can elevate this project beyond what anyone else can envision. But we need to navigate it together. The tension between them shifted. Trust hung delicately in the air, and for the first time, Shanice felt a surge of genuine possibility. Together? She echoed, searching his expression for sincerity. She couldn't ignore the past and the weight of betrayal. Yet there was something different in him today. Yes, he replied earnestly. You and I can create something meaningful, a partnership that benefits both you and your community. Those words ignited a flicker of hope within her. One she had thought was extinguished. But she had to tread carefully. What exactly do you propose? She asked, her voice steady. How do you see this working, especially with my father's health being what it is? Marcus sighed. A fleeting look of understanding crossing his features. We strategize and innovate. You can work remotely when you need to. Flexible hours, more autonomy. We won't rush you, Shanice. Your family comes first, always. But we need your fire to push this forward. Her heart raced, not just with anxiety, but with the thrill of potential. Could work. She could be the bridge between the two worlds she straddled. Let me think about this, she replied finally, surprise lacing her voice. But if I'm in, I'm all in. I won't play second fiddle to anyone, including you. I wouldn't want you to, Marcus countered, a grin breaking through. You're the leader we need. As their conversation unfolded, something within Shanice shifted. The weight on her shoulders began to lighten just a fraction. Maybe, just maybe, this was the beginning of the chapter she had been fighting for all along. Later, as she returned to the restaurant, the cacophony of sizzling and laughter welcomed her home. Her sister looked up, curiosity shining in her eyes. Back so soon? How did it go? Shanice paused, her heart swelling. I think I found a way to balance everything, work, family, all of it. Her sister's smile broadened. Really? That's amazing. Yes, but it's going to take commitment, Shanice said, a newfound determination infusing her voice. I need to ensure Dad is okay, and I also need to show the world what I can do. As they settled in for dinner, the restaurant filled with the sense of shrimp sautéing and greens simmering, Shanice felt the warmth of family surrounding her. Each bite was a reminder of what mattered: the love, the legacy, the dreams woven into every recipe and meal shared within these walls. Days turned into weeks, and bit by bit, Shanice transformed the project into something the executives had never imagined: a culinary venture that celebrated culture, nurtured community, and brought people together. With her family by her side and Marcus as an unexpected ally, she crafted a plan that was rich with purpose. The grand launch day arrived, buzzing with excitement. Guests filled the room and Shanice stepped forward, heart racing. Welcome. Today isn't just about showcasing fabulous food. It's about embracing every voice, every story. As she spoke, her father watched from the side, beaming with pride, and her sister's supportive gaze encouraged her forward. In this moment she saw it clearly. The affirmation of her journey. Shanice delivered dish after dish, each prepared with heart and passion, a tribute to her roots and the dreams she had woven into the fabric of her community. When the event concluded, applause erupted, echoing off the restaurant walls. There was joy, unity, and growth simmering in the air, a powerful reminder that transformation comes from strength, resilience, and courage. As gratitude surged within her, Shanice met the eyes of her father, realizing this was just the beginning. The future was bright. She was ready to embrace it, to lead with heart, unyielding and unapologetic. This is your time to shine. You need to. Subscribe now for more stories that inspire. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let others feel this energy. Comment below about your reactions and feelings on the ending. Your thoughts matter. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to believe in their own transformations. Don't wait not even one more second. Show your support for the journey ahead.